Okay, just a reminder, my last race, Loton Park, I had a crash and smashed up the car somewhat. So here is a couple of reminders. What I'd like to ask everyone is whether they would subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free of charge and it will really help the channel and help me to fix the car properly. Thousands of people have watched my last video in a few days, but a very small handful have subscribed, so please subscribe. So my lovely TR6 is now looking a bit battered. Basically got two wheels on the grass and spun it round and smashed into a tower wall. So it's definitely bent the little chassis extension on this side. The bonnet is now sitting up and forward here, doesn't close properly there. This front panel where the timing strut was and the light has got pushed in, and then the whole of this side of the car is now, I don't know if it'll show on the film, it's banana shaped, so this front wing is coming out, so the whole car's sort of skewed this way. Doesn't look like there's any proper chassis damage as such. It's obviously broken the brand new anti-roll bar brackets, but that's probably a good thing. So I'm going to try and do a DIY repair and pull some of these panels out and try and straighten her up and see what's what. So watch this space. So I haven't got any proper tools to do this, of course. So I'm going to have a go at using a ratchet strap, which is about all I've got. Bear with me, caller. So I'm going to use the bracket, which is about the most substantial thing I've got in there from the timing strut, and use my lift bracket, which is pretty substantial. Got the weight of the car on this, so in theory if I ratchet that, it might pull that back into shape a little bit. So it's crunched up there, the grill's right up against the side there, and there's a big gap here. This wing seems to have gone out. So here goes nothing. Not sure how good I'll be able to get this single-handed, so just bear with. Okay, so here we are. As I pull that ratchet, it is having a go pulling that out a bit. Now, it's probably not going to pull it out where it needs to be, of course. So I'm just going to have two hands and see how we get. Okay, so a couple of goes. We've definitely improved things. That bit there where the bracket is though is still at a curious angle, and where the light is all pushed in, and this is still folded. So I think we're only getting so far. In fact, I think that bit's probably pulled out enough. I'm not sure we're going to be able to reform that any more than we have. So once I'd got so far with the ratchet strap, I resorted to some G-clamps and tried to sort of manipulate the metal into being a little bit sort of flatter and straighter. Bit of panel beating, and it started to look a little bit more like. Bit more G-clamping. But this metal is very thick on an old car like the TR6. It's not like a modern metal, so it's actually pretty hard to persuade. It doesn't want to go where you want it to go. but we started getting a bit of a shape back to it. And then I put an aluminium bar behind it and put these 3 bolts through the whole thing, and so I could clamp it up, and that made all the difference in getting that straight. It's still obviously wobbly around the edges, but the light is going to cover over that. The front wing I pulled out with a ratchet strap, the filler chipped away from it, and I've straightened this timing piece. The new anti-roll bar brackets fitted. The bolts had snapped off, actually sheared off, so I had to drill those out, retap a thread here and there, but basically managed to save the base plate. The back was a bigger problem, difficult. I bought this hydraulic body sort of frame fixer, but it didn't work brilliantly well. New second-hand American style backlight, not great. Then I was starting it, and petrol, before I even started the engine, petrol poured out the bottom of the carbs, huge amount. So in the middle of all this fix, I had to strip one of the carburetors down. I diagnosed it to a blocked needle jet. So that was a bit of a learning curve, not stripped down a Weber carb before. So here we go, why not, while you're rebending your car. And anyway, yeah, true enough, there was a bit of muck in the needle jet for some reason. And so we cleaned that out, put it all back together, and while I was there, I fitted these return springs, which had been pulled up by scrutineering at that last event. Okay, here we go. So a week and a day of attempting to rebuild the TR6 ready for racing. Not trying to make it perfect, but just trying to finish my racing season really. Got August and September to go, quite a few races. So I've done a lot of bending, a lot of swearing, a bit of painting, and let's have a look now in comparison to post-crash. So here we go. So from the front, not too bad. The telltale signs, I've got to replace this yellow strip actually, because that's where I hit the tyre wall, and it's obviously took the surface off it. This was a bad corner. The light now is sitting at not quite the right angle, it should be parallel to the yellow line, but I've straightened that panel the best I can, which at one point I didn't think it was going to straighten, but I've got a piece of aluminium on the inside bolted under there, 3 bolts, and that's helped straighten it. Got the bracket for the timing strut back on, the new chassis bumper iron leg behind there, new second-hand one I got from that. So not bad considering. I managed to straighten this plastic spoiler, which was pretty well bent double, which is amazing, but the bodywork is now not the same shape, so I've had to put that little spacer there, and there's a bit of a gap, so it doesn't look quite symmetrical, but it's on. The bonnet was the big one. That was pushed up by about 1.5 inches, and had come forward by about 1 inch. It's still forward. You can see here about 1 centimetre forward there. But this gap here was massive, and this gap was massive. This gap is still bigger than it should be, but I've managed to push in the wing on this side, unbolted it and pushed it in to compensate for the structure being a bit bent underneath it, and all I've got now is this splaying front. This side not so bad. So it's basically pushed the inner wing and the substructure that way. We've still got some stuff to polish out here. Hitting tyre wall damage. When I straightened this out, it was full. There was a load of filler on the surface, and it all cracked off. So I've just bodged a bit of filler back in there and painted over it to sort of make it a bit more invisible. The door is just cracked here at the bottom, but I've just painted it in, not too bad. Little bit of a tyre scuff again. And then these panels prove very difficult. I bought this hydraulic pusher set for straightening bodywork, but I've straightened this bit, but this bit won't pull out. I've got nothing to push against. And as you come around the back, it's kinked in here, and there's a buckle there. Again, I can't seem to improve those any more than I have done, so we're going to have to live with those. This side relatively unscathed, apart from the car is now. I don't know if this will show up on the camera, but it's a little bit of a banana now. So it comes along okay, and then this wing comes out because the structure has been bent out. So it is what it is. I've test driven it, which you'll probably see on this video. Seems to be driving okay. Had some brilliant last minute problems. This headlight was obviously part of the impact. It's okay, it wasn't broken, but it wouldn't work. Trying to trace the wiring made no logical sense. The other light worked, this one didn't. This thing, it took the big impact and it bent in double, but I managed to straighten it and it hadn't cracked the lens amazingly. But the headlight wouldn't work, so I ended up in frustration last night rewiring the headlights to get that working, so that now works. The back light has been replaced with a pretty rammy second-hand American one, but it's whole. A couple of cracks in it, but it's whole. So we've got a set of backlights all working. So that's that. Still needs a clean on the inside. Got grass and debris from the accident. And I've got some foam on order to put on the anti-roll bar because my helmet hit the rollover bar and damaged the helmet slightly. So I'm going to learn a lesson from that and put some padding on there. But I think not bad considering. It sort of still looks like a car. The bonnet isn't quite sitting down right, but considering it was 1.5 inches up with various adjustments, you can see here it's sitting proud of the wing, but I just can't get it any lower. But I'm going to call that a win for now. So there we go, some sort of temporary repairs to try and continue my racing season. Got quite a few, 5 or 6 races left this season, and that was the aim really, to get the car back on and keep going and then review it in the winter. Since my last video, the Loton Park video, it showed my crash. I've had an enormous amount of support from the community, which has been absolutely fantastic. Some really supportive comments, wishing me well, great advice to fix the car, to improve my driving, and I really appreciate every bit of it. I'm on a massive learning curve trying to be a racing driver, and you know, every day is a learning day, but I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy reading the comments. I've tried to answer every single one of them, so thank you so much to everyone who's tried to help. Really appreciate it. One last request is, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, it would be great if you could subscribe. It doesn't cost a penny and it massively helps the channel. I've got a big job to rebuild this car in the winter. It would be great to have YouTube help me do that a little bit. I don't get a penny at this moment, so I need more subscribers. So if you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button. Thousands of people have watched my video in just 3 days, but hardly anyone subscribed. So a subscribe would mean the world to me, and it would really help, and I'll try and keep improving on racing and show you how I'm doing. So thanks very much, and I'll see you next time. Curb or a sprint, that's where I'm heading.